I'll never forget the first time I hired someone and felt good about it. We shook hands over a cup of coffee, and I walked away from that hire knowing I'd made the right decision for my company. More important, I'd made the right decision for my new employee. I knew he'd be happy working at my church staffing company, Vanderbloemen Search Group. Hiring people with the right skills has always been important to me, but it took me years to realize that as a business owner, hiring people who would be happy working for my company was just as important, perhaps even more important. A good cultural fit between my company and the people who worked there didn't only improve their quality of life, but it also affected my business. Earlier in my career, I didn't understand how important culture was to an organization's success. At 31 years old, I was the senior minister at the First Presbyterian Church in Houston. Sam Houston, the man who brought Texas into the United States in the 19th century, went to that church. Close to 5,000 adults and about 2,000 of their kids called First Presbyterian home. There was a school, a preschool, and hundreds of employees. It was a big church, and while I was there, the attendance grew a little, and the median donor age dropped. I'm proud of the contributions I made, but wish I had known then what I know now about the importance of culture in any organization. A lot of the staff left while I was the senior minister. In hindsight, I know it was because we didn't have a great culture. Worse, I know now that I was the pace setter for that culture. I ended up leaving the First Presbyterian Church of Houston and went to work in the corporate world for a few years before starting my own company. Hiring one person at a time, I put a lot of thought into whom I was surrounding myself with and whom I'd be trusting with my clients. We grew organically, one hire at a time, and I slowly built a business staffed by employees who didn't just like the work, but also liked working together. A culture was developing within my business, and it was the kind of culture that benefited my employees, my clients, and me. Culture tip: culture always wins. I got a surprise. One by one, I added more people to Vanderbloemen Search Group until we had grown to a legitimate business with a Houston office, a few dozen employees, and more than 100 clients. In 2015, I was traveling for work and staying at a hotel in Baltimore when I received a phone call. It was someone from Entrepreneur magazine. I knew the people at my company had taken some kind of survey, and the call was about the results of the survey. Turns out we won Best Company Culture in the whole country. I was stunned. According to what the man told me, my little business didn't win the award for Best Culture at companies just in the city of Houston or the state of Texas or all faith-based organizations. We were selected from all businesses in America. I was dumbfounded. I thought for sure an award like that would go to a high-tech firm in Silicon Valley, a place with ping-pong tables and all-you-can-eat buffets for the employees. After that, we won more awards and landed on more lists, including Entrepreneur's Top 5 Company Culture in 2015 and 16, and Houston Business Journal's Best Places to Work in 2015 and 2016. At first, I found it hard to believe we were being recognized nationally for something I'd unintentionally stumbled upon, building an irresistible workplace. Eventually, I accepted the accolades because they represented a lot of hard work and lessons learned. Those awards represented what's possible when you realize there are many priorities to consider in building a successful company, but above all else, more than profits, more than process, and even more than people, culture wins. I didn't set out to build an irresistible workplace that attracted top talent, so when people asked me how I did it, I didn't have a plan to share with them. I hadn't created a roadmap to an irresistible workplace, and I didn't yet understand that culture wins. To get a clear understanding of how I'd left a mediocre culture and helped create a thriving one, I thought about the choices I'd made at my company and how they were different from the choices I'd made earlier in my career. What had I done to foster a culture in which people wanted to work with me and wanted to work for me? First, I looked back at what happened after I left the church and went to work in the corporate world. The company was great and the money was terrific, but I wasn't happy with the work I was doing. It wasn't my calling, so to speak. While I was there, the company went through some changes. The CEO left and was replaced by another CEO within 100 days. By church standards, a 100-day hire was unthinkable. It took us years to replace ministry leaders. The man hired wasn't a temporary replacement.